episode 4 of Married to Medicine. So the episode picks off where all the men are discussing the issue that Dr. Kieran and Dr. Yu had from last episode, which was Dr. and Toya moved so much, which I still kind of think is funny. I thought it was, Kiki, I thought it was kind of cute, but, Dr. Eugene did not funny, and that pretty much did that. So anyway, with the conversation between Dr. Eugene and Dr. Kieran is that Kieran's perspective is that I didn't do it with malicious intent. I didn't do it with, trying to hurt you or trying to embarrass you or your wife. I just thought it was funny. I thought it would be funny. I still find it funny. Um, but I apologize for the simple fact that your feelings were hurt and your wife's feelings were hurt. So they kind of just had to agree to disagree because otherwise the issue was just not going to be resolved, which I still don't think it really is resolved, obviously, but they just kind of had to agree to disagree because it wasn't going to go anywhere. You can't make somebody feel something that they don't feel. And at the moment, Dr. Karen is not, a malicious place. So the men, they continue on with the axe throwing. A few were good, some were not. I think Dr. Damon was able to hit the target spot on, and heavily lets us know that Dr. Damon is real good with putting things in their specified place. I think we all know what that means. So then we move on to let's see, Anila brings dinner to Dr. Karen's office, to his practice. So they're hoping that Karen will allow her mom and her dad to move in, just like for a trial period for a couple, and maybe permanently, or for at least some duration, for her to have help with the children because she said her blogging is just taking off. And so something I said in um, last week's review is that I kind of just felt like she was discussing how her life has changed since Miss Gomez is gone. But I kind of stand corrected because on this episode, it really seemed like she was complaining about just having her children around. And I get sarcasm and I get just being funny and, I get all the witty banter, but some of it slightly felt like she was complaining about just being a parent and that almost like her blogging is more important, which I can't tell anyone what should be, I can't prioritize importance for other people, but I just felt like, okay, these are your kids. She says, they're around me a lot. They're around me all the time. And it's like, yeah, those are your kids, sweetie. I mean, what do you think? So kind of, I guess just have to keep my eye on that. Then we move forward to another intervention / ambush. Dr. Jackie sets up Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone to come to her office. She has them come there, I guess, for a lunch. Like, hey, girl, let's have lunch. It's Heavenly. So they kind of like, having a moment like, why is she here? Or why is she here? And kind of just, they keep the rapport light and fluffy, and they suggest going on a girls' trip. Just the three of them at first, and then it turned into let's just invite the ladies. The rest of the trip is just kind of us getting the I guess behind the scenes look of them preparing and packing, for Vegas. Oh, we also see Dr. I almost forgot that. Contessa's trainer comes to her house, and Contessa's trainer is I'm assuming he's probably 6'1" or 6'2", maybe in between 240 to 270. Uh, Very muscular guy. And he shows up in this powder blue, this baby blue uh, tracksuit that looks like it's one or two sizes too small. And I guess he wants to show his muscles, but I don't know, something about the color and the way it was just hugging every single thing on his body. I just thought, okay, like I know you want to show you got muscles, but you're doing too much. So anyway, so he gives her the diet plan that she's going to have to adhere to while she's on her Vegas trip. So getting her measurements to see where she's at. I guess that's just keep her on track and on par with her fitness competition goal. which I don't even. They still haven't said if we're going to see it during the season or if it's something that they're even going to show. But again, that's part of her storyline, so that's got to be shown. So we see, uh, Toya and Eugene. Well, really, Toya packing, getting ready for Vegas. All those ladies getting ready for Vegas, and then we fast forward to everyone meeting up at the airport. Everyone shows up, and Carrie shows up, which Carrie is uh, an original cast member from the first, I think, one or two seasons, first 2 seasons of Married to Medicine. So she kind of shows up and she hangs in the background. She doesn't get a lot of camera time. Haven't seen her do any confessionals yet. She's just kind of just taking up space. So I don't know if they're auditioning her to see if she's going to fit. Maybe they're thinking about bringing her back, seeing how well she gels, and if she's going to have anything to bring to the table. But so far, it made some appearance. I want to say last season. I want to say, yeah, she definitely made some appearances last season. So I'm kind of curious as to what are they really doing with Carrie, because outside of 5 or 6 words here, 5 or 6 words there, Carrie's just taking up space. So I don't know if she's there for. I have no idea why she's there. But anyway, so they arrive to the hotel in Las Vegas, and it's Dr. Jackie, Simone, and Simone's trip, and so they have the presidential suite. They had everything laid out. When I say it was just beautiful and immaculate, they had a immaculate. They had a well, what do I want to say? They had a great spread of food. They had, and I'm a foodie, so they had a great spread of food. They had, when you walked in, they had champagne, which is typical for when you enter, a presidential suite, especially if you're hosting a trip. So they had the champagne with the waiters. They had the waiters bringing, or caterers probably. Uh, they had fresh fruit towers. They had uh, probably steamed vegetables. I know they had, like, I think he said citrus, lemon, asparagus, and I hate asparagus, I really do. But when he said citrus, lemon, asparagus, I thought, oh, I'm sorry, citrus, garlic, asparagus. That just sounded so good. I'm just thinking I'm gonna have to try it. I might put it on broccoli because I don't want to eat asparagus, but that citrus garlic sounded like it was just decadent and flavorful. Then they had, I think, some type of sliders and the mashed potato. Anyway, it just had a variety of food, but everything was just it. The way they presented it, it was just beautiful. Something I'm definitely going to recreate in my own life. So anyway, so Dr. Jackie hands out the room keys, and we don't see anyone's room just yet. She just kind of hands out the keys, and we're kind of privy to the room that Simone's going to be sleeping in inside the presidential suite with Jackie. So moving right along, the ladies decided to play a game of Never Have I Ever. Never Have I Ever is a game where you say it's a drinking game. Drinking, the alcohol of your choice. Someone says, well, never have I ever, went to a nudist beach or something. And for those who have done it, will have to drink. And those who have not done it, won't drink. So at the start of the game, so far, like the whole trip from the airport to the shuttle bus ride to the hotel to them eating and kind of just getting, you get into the hotel room, you take your stuff off and you eat. Everything was just good vibes. It was relaxed. It was very jovial. And then here comes Dr. Contessa with, well, everyone's not going to be honest. Everyone's not going to be transparent. Everyone's, not going to be truthful. And I just thought, why even say that? Even if you're feeling it or thinking it, and we know she still feels a certain way towards Heavenly, why ruin the moment? And that's my issue with Contessa. Like, she just cannot stop being dramatic. Like, everyone's having a great time. Chill. If you want to say whatever you want to say, Heavenly, say it when you want to say it, or say it now. But that whole passive aggressive, petty stuff is it's ridiculous, and it's not becoming on anybody, especially not her. So that's strike number one of a million that I have with her. And then Toya they kind of settled that issue because she didn't want to discuss who exactly she was speaking about. She just kept saying some people, someone, some people. and heavily didn't bite into it. And I'm glad because that would have ruined the trip probably. Just to, the first day, the first night there, a huge argument. I'm glad Heavenly took the high road on this one. So then Toya kind of gets at Jackie saying, well, why isn't Jackie drinking? Now, Jackie does not drink. And I think Jackie doesn't drink because she's had, I think, one or two, at least one, bout with breast cancer. We know that alcohol consumption increases your uh, probability of getting breast cancer. It does something, I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't explain it, but it does something to your body that can help assist any cancer. It's a carcinogen, let me just say that, plainly put. So the new lady, and again, she's just a friend of the show right now, Dr. Audra, she's not a doctor, actually, she's a real estate attorney. She kind of defends Jackie like, well, Jackie doesn't drink, so why make somebody drink that doesn't drink just to play a game? And so Toya tells Audra that we got to get an attorney. And now you don't know this lady from a can of paint. To say that knowing where you like it was a ridiculous thing to say. It was just a ridiculous thing to say to somebody that you don't know. And she kind of backed it off by saying she was joking, she's just having a good time. But then we get a preview into next week's episode when Audra now it's like it's a seed that's been planted. It's something that's been said that's out of the way. And as with most people, when you say something like that to them or you insult them, their character or whatever the situation may be, they're gonna get back. They're gonna get you back somehow. So we see that in the preview for next episode. Other than that, this episode I feel like was just kind of a filler and just kind of is getting ready to start on the climax um, with the issues arising between various ladies. And I want to see what I keep calling her a doctor. She's not a doctor. I want to see what. Well, I guess she is a Juris Doctor because I'm not too far off calling Audra a doctor. She does have a Juris Doctorate. Um, I'm curious to see what she's gonna bring because she's kind of been in the background and we've seen her, kind of hang around the girls a little bit, and she seems like she likes to have a good time. She's real light. Heavenly says that she's not dramatic, so I'm interested to see how she's gonna handle Toya and Toya's just miserable pettiness. So I'm curious to see how she's gonna to deal with that. And that's the review for episode 4. We'll see you next week.